Everyone finally makes it to the castle. The gang's finally back together. However, there's no time to relax, because the castle's under siege by Darklings. The Knights of the Round Table finally make it into the castle, seeing a flood of Darklings ravaging. With haste, Sonic leads the charge and manages to storm in. They thankfully save all the civilians that were in the castle, as well as driving off most of the Darkling flood. However, Merlina's nowhere to be found, so Sonic goes further into the castle while Galahad follows after, with the rest making sure no more dark forces can enter the castle walls. The two head deeper into the castle, eventually making it into the sewer where they encountered more Darkling stragglers who managed to escape, along with Merlina's unconscious body. Looks like those guys were responsible for dragging her down here, but why? What would some Darklings want with her?
To use her as a distraction. Now that I have you here, it's time for one last duel. One you won't walk away from.
So Sonic and Lancelot begin an epic duel down in the sewers. Yeah, not an ideal place for one, but what are you gonna do? As their swords clash, the sparks from the clashing metal light up the dimly lit area, Sonic barely being able to see. He carefully manages to lead Lancelot into a bigger area, a giant circular platform with a river of water flowing around it like a moat. Their duel continues, but Lancelot has the upper hand. He knocks Sonic close to the edge, the rapid flow of water making it impossible for any poor sap to escape once fallen in. Perfect for a quick disposal. But right as Lancelot charges in to push Sonic over the edge, Galahad arrives quickly and holds him in place with his telekinesis, giving Sonic the perfect opportunity to recover. Galahad can't hold him in place forever though, because in a rage, Lancelot charges at Galahad, sword raised and coming at him at full speed. However, they say that history doesn't repeat, but it echoes, because with that, Galahad freezes him in place with his magic and kicks him in the back of the head, knocking him over the edge. Man, that felt good. I don't know why. Whatever. With that, Lancelot gets swept down to the river, going who knows where. After this epic final duel, Sonic and Galahad manage to wake the sorceress and get back to the courtyard. The group greets their return, as Merlina warns that this is only the beginning. She explains that the army of Darklings were only a distraction to break through the barrier by force, using shadows to weaken the defenses, so that Lancelot can sneak in and take Merlina out himself and get his revenge against Sonic at the same time. However, thanks to Sonic and Galahad's victory, hope still persists. Little do they all know, this small battle is about to become an all-out war. As everyone collects themselves and tries to make a plan of attack, they hear a loud rumbling sound coming from the distance, and a booming voice that can be heard for miles.
For too long you whelps been a thorn to our side. You've defeated our strongest soldier, and caused so much trouble for me and my lord. It is time that you will perish under the full might of my infinite power.
A storm of red cubes and giant creatures that bear resemblance to the warlock himself start overwhelming the castle and the entire surrounding area. With his influence spreading as far as the eye can see, his overwhelming power shakes the very fabric of the kingdom. He then summons an army of clones of himself, charging at full force at the castle. With the heroes on guard, Merlina puts up another protection spell around the castle to hold off the clones. However, it's too weak from the amount of clones and the fact that she's just recovering, so it lets in some little by little. Protect the castle! Make sure none of them get to Merlina or the civilians! The fight rages on, with an infinite amount of clones slowly wearing down the Knights of the Round Table. Galahad then tells them that they need to go to the source and find the real Infinite. Unfortunately, none of them will be able to do that, as Merlina is too busy holding up the protection spell in the castle. So Galahad takes it into his own hands, leaves the castle, charging headfirst in the swarm of chaos Infinite created. It's finally time for him to shine. As he flies through the horde of clones, taking down giant monstrous creatures that resemble the warlock, he uses his magic to feel for his dark presence. He eventually finds him and immediately starts attacking him. The warlock is no slouch, as he makes it known to Galahad he doesn't intend to hold back for even a second. As the two fly through the air, their clashing attacks shake the very being of the world around them. The two use their magic to their full potential, causing the world to distort around them. The heroes back at the castle manage to defend the horde still, but also see in awe as the world they know it warps around them. No one knows who's going to win this battle, as the two warriors are equally matched. Infinite then stops playing with his food, as he lets out all his power, and transforms into a dark samurai. Galahad, at this point, stands no chance, as Infinite's way too fast and has too much raw power. Though, as the two launch their most powerful attacks at each other, a void of pure magical energy forms around them, sucking everything in sight into it. With this, Galahad feels an overwhelming dark presence forming near him, as Mephiles was just using this as the perfect opportunity to make himself known.
I have no more use for you, fool. Begone!
As he forms next to Galahad, smacking him away, he uses his spear to impale Infinite straight through the chest.
But why?
He then gets absorbed into Mephiles' very being, forming him into a horrific monstrosity only seen in the endless dark void. Speaking of, he uses this opportunity and flees into the void, the darkness being the battery to amp up his already immense power. Galahad lands somewhere nearby, as he's extremely wounded from battle, his magic being the only thing to keep him further from harm. Nearby, though, he's rescued by none other than Lancelot, who's been freed from his Oni control and was healed by the Lady of the Lake, who found him washed up in the Misty Lake shortly after him and Sonic's duel. Lancelot then takes Galahad back to the Misty Lake to have him rest up with him and Nemu, as they come up with a plan of attack. After they rest up, they decide to head back to the castle to help their fellow knights. Back at the castle, as the clones dissipate, everything else starts getting sucked into the void. As the civilians panic, Sonic immediately jumps to action. Once Galahad and Lancelot show up, Sonic tells the knights to get all the civilians to safety, far away from the castle. Unfortunately, there was no time, as the void was expanding at an alarming rate. With no time to save them, Sonic then directs his loyal knights to give him the power of the sacred swords once again, knowing that the light will be able to cut through the darkness. With that, the golden light envelops him, giving him the power of Excalibur once again. You ready for round 2, Callie? As ready as you are, my king. Alright, let's do this! As he charges headfirst into the void, the kingdom cheers on with all his might. He flies through the void, their presence being the only thing to fill up this infinite null space. Get it? But then, a dark presence forms around him, conjugating into a giant dark demonic force. This is the Oni's true form, the infinite darkness.
Your feeble flicker of light is nothing compared to the inky, infinite black void.
Well, luckily for you, Excalibur's might is unmatched! As this epic battle pursues, every swing of Excalibur slashes at the void, weakening it, as well as the Oni's influence. The Oni's attacks, while powerful, are nothing to Sonic, as he puts his full might into one big attack, as he drives his sword right into the Oni, engulfing the darkness with light.
No! Your light should have been snuffed out! How?
Because there's nothing Excalibur can't cut through.
No!
After the defeat of the Oni, the void dissipates, and Sonic lands back at the castle, being met with thunderous applause. That was awesome! Marvel, I suppose. Sonic then walks up to Merlina, with her congratulating him on his victory. Congratulations on your victory, my king. Heh, no sweat! However, before they're even able to finish their thought, a portal appears behind Sonic. Huh? What's this? Sonic's world needs him, and he knows this. So he gathers all of his knights, Nemu and Merlina, around him, and says his goodbyes. But the kingdom needs a ruler, so Sonic appoints none other than Lancelot to pass down his rule. As the denizens of Camelot cheer, Sonic knows that with Lancelot, the kingdom would be in good hands. So he takes Caliburn, waves goodbye, and goes back to his world, where more adventures are on the horizon. And that is where we're going to end this series, guys. Thank you so much for watching. There's a little bit of ad-lib here. Yeah, I'm sorry that I've been gone for so long. I went on vacation, then I got insanely sick, and then a bunch of stuff around the holidays happened. And yeah, there's a lot of personal life stuff going on right now, but I'm back, so I can make more videos, and I just want to pump out as many videos as I can. So let me know what you guys want. There's gonna be a couple more what if stories that I want to tell. They're kind of short, but really good. And yeah, I got some really big news. Hopefully the beginning of next year I'll be able to share with you. But yeah, I really appreciate all the support, and thank you so much for getting me to where I am right now. And I really appreciate it. But yeah, look forward to all the videos we got in the future. And if you've listened this far, please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. And like always, peace out, guys.